Looks like we're up. Oops. All right, there we are. Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Friday people. Friday stream chat. I'm here. My name's John Mikula. I'm here representing Graphite Lab. I'm here to play a little bit of Mr. Run and Jump. The game developed by us, Graphite Lab, in collaboration with Atari. And yeah, we are, I'm here solo today. I guess, Matt Wraithel, usually here with me. He's too busy, too important now to, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know what he's up to. He's doing something, but that's okay. Cause, I'm here and you're here and we're just going to hang out. We're going to chill out. I love a good Friday, when the week is done. I mean, everybody does, right? But sometimes, especially in this industry, you wind up with a situation where your Fridays are like, crunch time and you're looking for, you're working till like midnight or whatever, like into the weekend, like trying to, finish a build or whatever you're doing. And luckily this isn't one of those weeks. So I get to kind of, chill out here, play a little run and jump. And yeah, spend some time here with the chat. Excuse me, sorry. I believe last week we finished Red World, and Matt was kind of stuck on 6-1. And you know what? I don't really want to go to 6-1 today. I kind of want to farm some shards, get some shard orbs, or so it looks like we got everything on 2-1. So I can do shards in 2-2, 2-3. Maybe we'll try to get through. Looks like Matt got the challenge orbs here, so we could try to get the all the shards here in Blue World. Then we'll go for about an hour, and then call that a stream. Let's get in here. Oh man, good old leap. Good old Mr. Watch and Learn. It's actually kind of been a minute since I played the game myself. So apologies if I'm a little rusty. But I should be able to get a lot of these shards, no problem. Oops. So it's been kind of an exciting week for the world of Mr. Run and Jump. Atari announced the 2600 Classic. Or no, sorry, it's 2600 Plus, which is their kind of re-release kind of a Atari 2600 that'll hook up to, modern televisions with HDMI support and all that good stuff. So that's exciting. And then, so as part of that, it looks like they're putting out a version of the classic Mr. Run and Jump. Not the special edition version we've been hawking up until now, but another one for $30 instead of $60. So that's been super exciting. There's a link up on Amazon if you don't want to go through Atari's store, which I think is Graphite Lab. We never had anything go up on Amazon before, or at least not like a boxed product like this. So very exciting, times for us. And I mean, it's wonderful news because, like, Run and Jump Classic was always just kind of this niche, product for, super Atari fans who still have an Atari 2600 that they can hook up and a TV that can take it and all that stuff. But now, I think I want to say the console's like $130 or whatever. But I don't need the challenge orbs. I already got those. Cache these. So, you know, if you're you know, if you love the retro charm and you want to dig into the, you know, the origins of Mr. Run and Jump, you know, if you're a super fan, now you know, and you have 130 bucks, I mean, you know, which isn't nothing, but, you know, it's you know, it's a much more reasonable avenue than maybe having to sift through eBay listings and all that stuff for a proper classic console that works. You know, and I was getting my 2600, you know, in the development of Mr. Run and Jump, it took me like 3 tries. Like, I got one, like I ordered one through Amazon, just like a third-party seller, and it came and the thing looked like it was like caked in mud. Like just completely covered in dirt and refuse, and I'm like, this looks awful. And of course, you know, I cleaned it off and plugged it in and it didn't work. So I returned that, and then I got another one that looked a lot better, but that too didn't work. So eventually I had to, you know, go on Craigslist and meet a woman in a parking lot to, you know, buy a 2600 off of her. But at least it was local. You know, I imagine, like, you know, Amazon drivers are just like whipping these boxes into the trucks or whatever. Maybe, you know, not handling with, you know, not that they're destroying these packages, but that, you know, it's an old console that needs a little bit of TLC, I suppose. Now, hopefully, you won't have to worry about that. You just go get this new modern thing. Hopefully, it'll, you know, nice, fresh, built to last. Hopefully, and yeah, you'll be able to play classic Run and Jump. So it'd be cool. Like, I'd love to stream classic Run and Jump at some point. The tricky part is we would have to do it at 60 FPS, which I'm not exactly sure how our streaming setup is equipped to handle, you know, those, I don't know, is that a bitrate thing? I don't know. But just with the nature of how the game works, like enemies, like if there's more than one enemy on screen, it, you know, it can only display one enemy at a time. So when there's multiple enemies on screen at once, it will, you know, it'll display like enemy A one frame, and then the next frame it'll display enemy B. So if you're not streaming at 60 FPS, you get like you just won't see some of the enemies show up. Like if you're going at 30 FPS and there's 2 enemies on screen, you'll only ever see 1 enemy. So it's a little tricky. I guess we did like an emulator version at one point, but I don't think that turned out super well, and like looking at the VODs and all that stuff. But let's see. And then, oh yeah, more, again, it's an exciting week for Run and Jump. Turns out, you know, to our surprise, like we didn't know, Run and Jump is at Gamescom. So, you know, we've been hyping up our PAX appearance here next week, but, you know, something, Atari arranged something and got Run and Jump on the show floor of Gamescom. So, hey, all our German listeners, if you happen to be in, I don't know where Gamescom is specifically. It used to be in like Leipzig, but I don't know if it's still there. But you're on the show floor, you know, go take a look at Mr. Run and Jump and take a picture, you know, with the booth and send it to us. Let's see, how we doing? 207 shards. No. So, been a fun week for Run and Jump. And again, you know, I guess I just mentioned, but yeah, we'll, you know, I guess the streaming crew here, you know, Matt Rayful and myself will be at PAX next week. We'll just be there that Saturday, but we'll be kind of hovering around. You know, Atari's got their booth. They're showing a couple different games. I think like Days of Doom is going to be there. Maybe a couple other things, but Run and Jump will be there as well. So, you know, for this exciting domestic opportunity, you know, we're like, hey, let's go, you know, check that out. So we'll be there. Excuse me. So if anyone's watching and wants to say hi, you know, tweet at me or X at me, you know, whatever. But here, let me. Oh, it's Kyle. Is that Kyle in the chat? God, I want the cartridge just for the collector's purposes, but I can't afford it. Oh man, that's a bummer. Yeah, the collector's edition of the cartridge is pretty expensive at the 60 bucks, you know. But the new one at 30 bucks at least is a little more reasonable. That's all right, Kyle. You can see me. I will lend you my copy. Let's see. My cool version. You'll get the cool version that only friends and family have access to. Oh, I'm missing one? Man. Kidding. Ugh. Three. Oh, let's restart. That's okay. I was having a fun time with this level. It's a good level, I think. For the most part. You know, you always see, when you make something, you always see the issues with it, but... yeah, I want to say there's like one hidden, like somewhere like up off screen or something like that. So I'm just gonna take a little extra care to take a look. Indefinite lend on that. Go back a few screens. Oh man. Oh. Should have looked at chat a little sooner. Oh well. That's okay. I'll keep a close eye. Kyle, let me know if I'm gonna miss it again. Kyle, yeah, hopped in our Slack today and said he 100%'d the game. The whole thing. Black World and all, so that's always fun. That's exciting. Just not achievements, yeah. Yeah, getting all the platinums. I mean, you know, when designing achievements, you know, I was like, well, one, we had stuff of like, oh, you know, I remember it was a conversation we had of like, oh, die 100 times or whatever, but I don't know, it always feels, I mean, these are achievements, right? Like, you know, so it seems a little off to me to like reward failure like that, you know, not that I'm like, you know, one of these like get good types, you know, but I don't know, something about like, you know, I mean, what if someone didn't die 100 times and now they have to go through and like purposely like run into a bunch of spikes and thwomps just to get this achievement? I don't know, it seemed you know, not great to me, but yeah, when designing an achievement, you're like, okay, you want like stuff that's attainable, but like these are achievements, right? Like, you know, they're, you know, you want to achieve something, you want to feel, you know, they're a plus on the game, you know, you want, you know, in my mind, like achievements are like, you know, I love this thing, I want to like just wring it dry of content, so I'm like, we'll give you, you know, we'll give you your money's worth, you know, get all platinum time orbs. Whoop. No, what else? I guess earlier today, yeah, do you remember who was streaming? What his name was?
BGR Dave.
BGR Dave? A pretty sizable streamer checking out Run and Jump earlier today. So that was fun. They got, you know. Okay, Kyle says DGR Dave. Nice. Yeah, so that was exciting, you know, looking at their numbers. Like, you know, I mean, personally, you know, I have my streamers that I watch, and then, I mean, it's a wild world out there, but yeah, Artifice saying he finished the game outside of Dark World. Damn. That's awesome, though. I'm glad, you know, sometimes with how difficult the game can be, you know, you never know, like, yeah, I could see, you know, someone who doesn't play a lot of platformers or something, like, you know, checking out the game and being like, why is it so hard? Like, this sucks. But luckily we haven't had that. So very appreciative to the streamers who check out Mr. Run and Jump. It was really wonderful. Ugh. Ugh. Not in this room, Kyle. Never mind. It's in this room. Here, we'll just cache that. Do this. There we go. Get all these bad boys. $237. I feel like maybe we missed it again. We missed it again. Okay, I'm just gonna backtrack. Let's see how far I can get backtracking. Can I even get past this? Whoa. Here, this is the real, like, pros run, is going backwards. It's not like up here. Get around this guy. Doesn't look like it's here. On up here. Ooh. Here, I'm gonna just activate these guys, make sure they're not hiding anything. Didn't think it was here. Looks all clear. Keeping an eye on chat. Kyle's guiding me. It all seems so straightforward. It's not down here. Huh. Is it all the way back here? Wait, is that it? Oh, there it is. Oh, man. Phew. That's a tough one to even get. Oh. I feel like I have no memory of, I feel like I would have remembered. Okay, high jump for it. Yeah, what I did is just as good. Okay, jeez. Boy. Okay, now we should be good. Yeah, that lamp does really hide it. Oh well. Yeah, it's a tough one. I feel like whenever I play like Crash Bandicoot 2, there's like a couple levels where, you know, you got to get all the boxes in the same ways. You get the shards and run and jump, where you got to get them all in one go. And yeah, there's always like, you know, there's like a couple levels I can think of that, yeah, always kind of trip me up, where it's like, God, geez, you know, you get all the way and, you know, you collect 100 of these things and you missed one and no idea where it is, and it's a big pain in the butt. Well, that's okay. I think if I had to do it again, well, I don't know. So like we get a lot of utility, or like, you know, it's kind of a distinct challenge, right? To go through and get all the shards in one go. Like there's value to doing that, like that specific thing. But I've been thinking a lot recently about, like, you know, and I've had this thought in the past, but it's like, you know, when you're in like the midst of development, you got to be careful with, you know, the things you want to change, or the features you want to creep upon, you know, but changing it so like you collect shards, almost like how you collect challenge orbs, where the shards you collect, so you finish the level, they stay like cached. And like you'd play the level again and you'd see like grayed out versions of the shards, because shards do have you know, they do like highlight routes and stuff that you're supposed to take through the levels. So maybe one day, maybe we'll like patch it. Some shards are hard to collect, but that's the only one that's hard to find. Yeah, Kyle, I don't know if you remember, like back in the day, we were thinking about there was going to be like 6 shards per level, and like the first iteration of shards, there was like going to be 6 per level, and they were going to be like hard to find. Ooh, we got a cowboy hat. Yeah, glad we didn't do that. Yeah, I do like what we have now, for sure. But like you'd play those early iterations of the levels, and there we go. It's a good combo. And the you know, the 6, you know, mega shards just kind of felt like another challenge room, kind of. Not really like a distinct, you know, value add on their own. Oh, whoops. I didn't want to do that, but that's okay. We'll just have a really long time as we are shard hunting. Here, I'll cache these. This little section I always like. Oops. It's like here's just like this empty kind of nothing space, and then we turn it into a little learn to fly section. I really appreciate. Learn to fly being kind of the that's kind of the mantra that I would, you know, I mean, Kyle will tell the chat, you know, I would say that all the time. I'm like, you know, I think what's special about Mr. Run and Jump is how it, you know, forces the player to learn to fly, as I would say. Where like a situation like this, like, you know, there's no way to possibly, like, you know, get over these spikes. You gotta figure out how to chain all your things together to, you know, yeah, learn to fly and then get over it like that. The other ones I had really hard time with are some in World 4. Maybe it was 6-4 where you're falling and the bobs are on the left, you're avoiding fills and the bounce pads. Yeah, World 4, I think, World 4, I think levels have some of the, I think there's some of the most shards in those levels. Like, I think 6-4 has like the most by far, like the most shards at like 400 or something. Like it gets a little ludicrous at some point. Maybe it's not 400, maybe it's like 200, like, I don't know, it's tough. But yeah, when there is so many, it does behoove us to, you know, to make them not hidden, because, yeah, like, it sucks getting to the end and not knowing that you missed one. Oh boy. Let's see. No. Got impatient with that one. What's the chat been up to? Anybody doing anything fun? Anyone playing anything cool? I got back into, you know, everyone's probably playing Baldur's Gate 3. I've been kind of holding off on that. I guess Armored Core 6 came out last night, and I've been excited for that. So I'm like, I don't want to start like, you know, a huge RPG when I'm just gonna put it down like in a couple weeks to play Armored Core. So. But in the meantime, I've been playing oh yeah, guys, been playing this weird little indie game called Mr. Run and Jump. But in the meantime, otherwise, I've been playing. I started Company of Heroes, the first one. Kyle's here calling us assholes. I believe Kyle is one of those assholes. Yeah, maybe I can't swear on stream, but the chat started it, so it's you know, no problem. Bob's in the chat. Bob's in the chat if you think the devs are assholes. But yeah. I got everything? Got everything. Not a bad shard hunt. Terrible speedrun time, but plenty of room to improve. We did have an achievement for a while. It was And you know what? Maybe... No, we don't. We had an achievement where you have to get every orb on a level all in one go. So it'd be you have to start a time trial, get a fast enough time while getting all the shards and all the challenge rooms, and we were getting kind of towards the end of development, and you know, our David, our QA guy, was here. Maybe I'll finish the story after the ad. Oh, is that ad coming in 4 minutes? Okay. Well, now I forget what the hell I was gonna say. We were getting towards the end of development, and so David was going through and testing all the achievements, and he's like, you know, we just couldn't find a good level or a good setup to do it. And maybe, you know, if we had more time to dedicate to it, we could find something. I feel like it should be possible somewhere, you know, maybe at least in 1.1, but we just couldn't do it, so we wound up changing. There's an achievement in there for getting all the challenge orbs and the shard orb in one go. Oops. No. But yeah, you know, I've been in terms of platformers, you know, I forgot Mario Wonder is coming out this year, so I've been looking forward to that. It's coming out in October. I mean, it's no you know, run and jump, but I'll be excited to play that, you know. I love, you know, platformers to me are so, like, zen, you know, like, they're just a ultimate chill-out game, like, you know, you don't have to think about anything. I like games where you think about stuff, but I also like when, sometimes you don't have to. So, like, I find I usually have, like, you know, one, like, kind of thinking game, you know, going, and then one just, you know, non-thinking game going. So I've been playing, like, right now, I've been doing Company Heroes, which is my thinking game. That's like a World War II RTS, like, strategy game. And then my non-thinking game has been Doom, like the original Doom, which I never played all the way. Oops. Oh no, no! I can't go backwards. Now I have to restart the whole level. Yeah, Kyle says, I could probably do one of my levels with silver at least. Talking about getting all the orbs in one go, including the time trial. Like, yeah, like, it seems like it should be possible, right? So yeah, maybe the designers on it, you know, who know their levels inside and out, could do a better job at it. But also you gotta be at least a little reasonable, you know. David kind of comes at the game fresh. And can kind of act as like a neutral arbiter of like what is reasonable and what is not, you know? Which some of you might, you know, be looking at how hard the game is and is like, reasonable my ass, you know? But I believe David's gotten through the whole thing. I think David's done everything. I assume so. Maybe not all at once, you know, but Oop. Someone, whoever the streamer I mentioned earlier, someone in the chat mentioned wanting the frog mid-jump on a t-shirt, and I couldn't agree more. The frogman jump is so cute. It's like he puffs out his chest and kind of like flings his arms back, and it's really great. But yeah. Oh, okay, got it. Problem. Got them all. There we go. We did it, everybody. We got all the shards in Blue World. All the blue shards. Go to green. Hey, Kyle's here. Going to Green World. Yeah, a lot of good like shard pockets in Green World. I think Green World, we just kind of wound up having a lot of like dead space otherwise, and some just like, you know, going through it. I remember, you know, telling Kyle a bunch, just be like, hey, just, I don't know, put a shard challenge in this space or whatever, you know. But yeah, that's kind of the fun of it, is you know, just like turning, you know, this empty space into, you know, a meaningful gameplay challenge. Like, it's, I don't know, there's something about like games that can function efficiently like that. Green was where we started that. Yeah, I quite possibly. But you know, like what's you know, just games that can like, you know, I described, I wound up doing, I think it was we wound up doing an interview for GameDeveloper.com, Matt Rayful and I, and I kind of described, you know, controlling Mr. Run and Jump should feel like a toy, and then, you know, the level and the enemies and the shards and everything around it is like the game, you know, where I was describing like, you know, Mr. Run and Jump should be fun to just move around and exist on his own, and that was a quality I find like in a lot of good, you know, platformers, like Mario Odyssey, I think does that extremely well, where you know, just to move around and just to be Mario in that game is just so like fun and satisfying. Like, you don't even necessarily need a goal. But then, you know, with their moon structure, they were able to just insert little like micro goals all over just this environment, and I just admired that so much. I thought that was so, you know, it made for just such an experience that's just like, here's just this fun space, and these fun mechanics, and then we just layer gameplay-oriented goals on top of it. And I'm like, that's something I would love to, you know, try to emulate myself, and then lo and behold, you know, we get Run and Jump, and I'm able to put my money where my mouth is, I suppose. But here, I saw we need challenge orbs too, so I might as well just grab these as well. Did I miss a challenge? I feel like that's not the first challenge orb in Green World, but oh well. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It is? Okay. No problem. Gotcha. Yeah, in earlier iterations, that room appeared sooner, but then we added some breakable jump pad, tutorial rooms, and LTF, learn to fly rooms, so. It's darn skulls. I'm just gonna cache these since I'm struggling a little bit. Go here, 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 down like that. Oh. Oh. Here, do like that. Beautiful. Oh, let's see. Yeah, like I say, it's been a minute since I played some of this stuff, so I only sometimes remember how to do these challenge rooms, so. But this one's not too bad. There we go, no problem. Here, let's just slide down safely. Ooh. There we go. No! Ugh. Heartbreaker. Let's see. Anyone watch any good movies in the chat lately? I watched a movie called Where Eagles Dare the other night. That was Clint Eastwood, and yeah, the movie came out in like 1968, but it was about it's one of those like older, you know, like classic war movies where it's kind of this squad of a British you know, like paratroopers go into like Bavaria, and there's supposedly an American general who was shot down over German airspace and who crashed and survived, and the Germans have him locked in, you know, like an old castle or something that they're, you know, interrogating him, trying to get information about the Eastern Front. And so Clint Eastwood is an American embedded in this British squad, and And they go behind enemy lines to infiltrate, you know, the German, you know, fortress to try and get this general out. And it's one of these old kind of, like, the thing about, like, older movies like that, you know, is, like, you know, they're a little sleepier, where just so much time is spent, like, showing the characters get from point A to point B. Where, like, you take it for credit now, like, you know, movies, oh, you know, movies now just kind of, like, zoom. Where, like, you know, they're like, you can obviously figure out, like, you know, between this cut, you know, the character goes from point A to point B, and you just show them being there, and you understand that it's not important how they get there, they just get there. But so much of, like, movies from, like, the 60s and the 70s will just, like, show, like, you got to see Clint Eastwood, like, get in a car and then turn it on and then start driving down the street, and then maybe there's a cut of him, like, driving, and then another cut of him, like, arriving at a destination and getting out of the car and all that stuff. It's like, oh my god. So the movie's like 2.5 hours long, but you could easily cut out, like, at least a half hour, you know, just, like, travel time. But it's a classic for a reason, you know. It's pretty good otherwise. It's like the back hour of it. Like, the first 90 minutes are pretty slow, and it's kind of like some, you know, spy footage and kind of like interesting stuff like that. But then the back hour is like, you know, well, the first 90 minutes is like them placing dynamite everywhere, and then the back hour is them just blowing up all that dynamite. So it's some good payoff for sure. Great final scene. But anyway, that's what I've been watching. Cat, you see any good movies? Don't watch movies? Yeah, I don't blame you.
Reading a bunch of Legends of Zelda related videos.
Well, like what? You say reading Zelda media? Oh boy. Zelda fan fiction? Boy. It's all good. I'm into it. What's like the premier Zelda fan fiction?
There's this one good one that I remember pretty vividly. That, like, goes into the time loop aspect of Breath of the Wild, because when you beat Ganon, everything just resets. So it's like, what if that happened, and what would occur to make that stop?
Hmm.
It was just called Again, if I remember correctly.
Hmm. Gotcha. That's again the Zelda fan fiction. It's pretty good. Do you ever write any fan fiction? That's great.
I do, in fact.
That's funny. You want to, like, plug your stuff?
Oh, please don't. I can do that on my own time later.
Yeah. That's funny. I never, I'm not, I guess I'm not familiar with the world of fan fiction all that much. I remember as a kid, though, like, as a little kid, like, we had, like, a family computer, and I remember I was, like, I would write, I don't know what, like, brought this on, but, like, my mom made, like, a Word doc for me, and I would write, I had, like, a Spyro story, you know, like Spyro the Dragon. It was called Spyro and the Frogs. And I was, like, I must have been, I don't know how old I was, but I was, like, you know, I was really little. But I guess that's the closest I ever came to, I have no idea what it's about. It's, presumably Spyro encounters some frogs of some description, but
Presumably there are frogs in your frog fanfic.
you'd think so, but the frogs are more of a metaphor. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Sometimes, I do a lot of pitches for Graphite, and we try to get new projects off the ground, and I wind up sometimes having to, like, cook up a story, right? Like, and so a couple times, like, I've had to, I'm a fantasy fan, like, so I like to, cook up, like, new world building and that kind of stuff, and so sometimes I'm caught trying to, like, create, fiction and worlds for games like that we're trying to make, and it's tough, man. It's tough to like come out of your shell like that, and like, especially like I don't have any like training, writing anything. So like I'm using mostly just like tips and tricks I hear along the way of like how to like construct a decent narrative, but just gonna cache these. But it's tricky, and it can be a little like embarrassing to like especially when you're doing like fantasy and you have to like cook up like a bunch of like proper nouns and stuff like that, and so maybe one day we'll we'll get something like that off the ground, like 'cause otherwise we do like Combinera and Run and Jump are have like extremely light abstract stories and characters, and maybe one day, Graphite will have something a little more narrative heavy, but I guess we've done like Roller Coaster Tycoon Puzzle was, back in the day, or when it first came out, Roller Coaster Tycoon Story, but that in that situation we hired like professional writers. Let's see, I gotta focus on this. Wow. This is a great concept for a room. I really like this little challenge room we got. As a Graphite, I always thought it would be cool to pitch a virtual tabletop for D&D stuff. Kind of like a tabletop simulator, Kyle. Something like that. Or something like, there's stuff like Wildermyth. Oh, kind of like Tailspire. Yeah, I'm not familiar. There's something, there's like Wildermyth, which kind of tried to do like, you would create characters and it had kind of this like template framework that it would try to build a dynamic story out of, or like a, almost kind of D&D-esque where, you have your DM crafting a narrative around your characters. And I hear good things, like it looks like a good game. I just never tried it. But there's definitely something to that. Yeah, but more geared to creating 3D battle maps, using them in engine. Excuse me. I'm getting psyched out looking at this thing. Wah, there. Cat's been cooking. Cooking an idea for more story-based game pitch. Mechanics and scope are a bit too fuzzy for me still, though. Well, if you ever finish that pitch, you know, share it with us. We can, you know, we always, you know, because like different, you know, different partners and all that, you know. A lot of people, you know, like more story in our stuff. Like a lot of like indie publishers and all that, like really want story in games. You know, Atari is very gameplay forward. Like they're a very gameplay forward company, but like a lot of other people we talk to are like, you know, like if narrative's not like a core component of, you know, what they're after, then, you know, it's at least like a, you know, something they want to see at least some of, you know. And it's kind of the thing, you know, we don't have like a trained writer or like I should say a professional writer on staff. You know, I don't know people's qualifications, but it's something, you know, we kind of have to think about a little more. Always willing to lend my voice in various accents to a game. Is Kyle a voice actor? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I'd be glad to as well.
Nice. Could be if needed. Yeah, that's Kyle being like, you know, I dabble, you know, if you happen to have something, you know, I mean, you know, I wouldn't say no. Yeah, voice acting's tricky. I thought about making like a there's like voices.com or something, like, because we would when we were doing like Graphite like way back. Oh geez, it's almost 6 p.m. Time flew by. Here, we Graphite. We were for a long time. We were making like interactive storybooks for like iOS and Android, based on like My Little Pony, like the old TV show. And getting the licenses for voices is like a different thing. Like it's a different cost associated with it. So we would get like sound-alikes, or at least we would try to get sound-alikes. Like oftentimes these people didn't sound anything like, you know, Twilight Sparkle or anything. But, oh man, this is a tough one. Maybe I could just, there we go. I'm gonna try to finish this level and then we'll go. Or Kat, are you good on time?
How can I have to? After you're done with this level, then I would have to.
Okay, I'll try to be quick. But we would go. We would do just voices.com, which is just like, you know, you put like a portfolio and a resume together and load it up there and provide some kind of, you know, sample, and then, you know, you could give yourself descriptors like, you know, I do mean like angry monster voices, or I do, you know, like, you know, sales, like, you know, advertising, like announcer voice type stuff and all that. And I'm like, it'd be fun to put that on there and try, but like, you know, I don't know. I like to, like, you know, I like to throw my voice. I like to do voices, but I'm not like a good actor is the problem, you know. So I never gave it a try, but maybe one day. One more up there still. Oh, man. There we go. It's the trouble with these long rooms. You screw up, you gotta get all the shards again. Takes a long time. Wah! There we go. I'm not gonna do this challenge room. I'm going to, in the interest of time, we'll just we will just focus on the shards, try and get these. Whoa. 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 Trying to get out of there safely. But maybe that's a fool's errand. Maybe I should just go for it. Disney ever hooks you up again, I do a great Stitch impression. Oh man, what? I haven't thought about Stitch in ages. Stitch of Lilo and Stitch. God, what does he even sound like?
Sounds very gremlin-y.
Gotcha. Oh man.
Tails from Sonic.
Oh yeah, Tails from Sonic.
Uh-huh.
I feel like, is there a canonical actor who does like every Tails? I feel like it'd be different every game or something. Or like there's TV shows and all that, like, you know.
I know the movies and the games lately have had the same actress.
Yeah.
Colleen something.
Is it Colleen Clinkenbeard?
Yes.
She does Luffy from One Piece.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Different Colleen.
Because I remember thinking Clinkenbeard is like a real good pirate name.
It is. Colleen O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I got them all. I do. All right, there we go. Beautiful. All right. Not a bad haul. We got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shard orbs in this hour. So a couple more in green, and then we move on to yellow. So, alrighty, everybody, we're kind of at the hour mark. We usually do. So we're gonna wrap up here. Do we have a what's it called? A raid?
A raid for it?
A raider? A raid? One to raid?
I don't think we well, we don't really need to raid anyone to get a raid for it for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good.
Alright.
No raid today.
No raid today.
Oh well. We'll be back. So next week, Matt and I are traveling. So it could be I don't think we've decided what we're gonna do. We're either gonna skip that day, or we could you know, we could do a Thursday, or we could a Thursday stream, you know, with the usual cast, or, you know, maybe, I don't know, someone like Matt Stevens wants to come in and play, or, you know, a producer on Mr. Run and Jump, or maybe Kat wants to, you know, organize something. You know, I don't know. Cat can write us some run and jump fan fiction. Leap's tale. It's written from the perspective of Leap as he runs through the portals.
It's just the word bark printed over and over again.
Let's see, size 128 font.
Just everything.
B-A-R-K.
Bark, all caps, impact font.
Designer takeover. Yeah, maybe there's something. Maybe Kyle wants to come in.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, but alrighty. Well, in the meantime, we'll call it here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope everyone had a nice time. I know I did. And yeah, we'll stay tuned. We'll see you next week.